Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back to another round of in-depth candle reviews. I hope your day is off to a fantastic start. I have 3 more candles that are ready to go in terms of in-depth reviews. So we're going to be diving into those 3 fragrances today. 2 are from Bath & Body Works. 1 is from Kringle. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button right below the video here and you're interested in more of my home fragrance related content, definitely make sure you hit that subscribe button before you leave this video today. Anyway, guys, I am finally, after many years of ignoring this candle, reviewing the fragrance Winter from Bath & Body Works. Honestly, I have always kind of skipped over this particular fragrance because usually when I've picked it up, I have smelled a little bit more of a heavier hearth type note, so that charred wood type fragrance. And in previous years, I just honestly didn't care for that particular note. It is just this past year that I've kind of started embracing those smokier, slightly more hearth type fragrances. And many of you have told me to try this one. So this year I finally decided to pick it up during Candle Day. And I have to say, I do like this fragrance, but I think I actually liked it a little bit better on cold sniff than I do post burn. I'm not sure this is one where I'm going to necessarily clamor to pick up another one next holiday season, but I do think this is a nice scent. So let's kind of get into it here. We're gonna talk through the fragrance notes. I'll tell you what I smell in terms of, the mentioned fragrance notes compared to what my nose picks up. I'll tell you why I think I liked this a little bit better on cold sniff. We'll talk about the strength in the throw and then any burn issues. So let's go ahead and dig in. The fragrance notes for this one read white woods, pine needles, sparkling clementine, and spiced clove. So when I smelled this on cold sniff, I think I smelled a little bit more of that pomander type note that is present here. So my nose was focusing a little bit more on that sparkling clementine. I'm not sure that I would necessarily describe it as clementine. It's a little bit of a generic, just sweet citrus that could be clementine, could be orange, could be mandarin, could be satsuma, but I really like that on cold sniff. And I also got a little dose of clove in there, and what I liked was that I smelled a little bit more of that citrus note than the clove. So for me on cold sniff, this was kind of a really great start. I did definitely smell a little bit of maybe a touch of smokiness in the background, which I interpreted to be the white woods note that is mentioned here. I don't really smell anything super heavy in terms of pine. I don't get a whole lot of a holiday tree note here. What I find interesting though is that once I lit this up, it turned into much more of a hearth type fragrance with just a hint of that citrus and a hint of that clove. And it disappointed me a little bit because I'm personally a huge fan of pomander fragrances. And I was really hoping that this would smell a little bit more post-burn like it did on cold sniff, where I got a touch of that smoky note. But it turns out there was much more of an emphasis on the smoky note versus the actual pomander part of the fragrance. So that was definitely a little bit disappointing to me. But all that being said, I'm actually still enjoying this fragrance. I can see why a lot of people like this one. It really is kind of, if you don't have a wood burning fireplace in your house, I think this is kind of an easy fragrance to incorporate that isn't too heavy or too smoky, if you will. There's some other things going on that kind of help with that, perception of this just being a straight up hearth type fragrance. But for me personally, I think I would have preferred to have a little bit more focus on that pomander with the hearth in the background. So it was just kind of reversed for me. But like I said, I'm still enjoying the fragrance. I just don't think that I'm gonna be one of those people that, you know, is like sitting there waiting for Bath & Body Works to release this one again next holiday season. I may well repurchase it next year, but it's again not one where I would need maybe 2 or 3 of them throughout the holiday season. I think one would probably be kind of perfect for me. So I'm definitely glad that I ultimately tried this, but it really just wasn't what I was necessarily expecting. So in terms of strength and throw, I actually really like the strength of this one. It's right around a 7. So it is very, very noticeable, but it's not something that is overly aggressive. I find that some hearth fragrances are a little bit more in your face, and they just tend to be a bit much, and I don't like burning them for long periods of time. But this one, honestly, it's been burning pretty good as of like the halfway point. We all know that Bath & Body Works can definitely turn on you at any moment. But in terms of the strength, I think that strength of about a 7 is pretty perfect for this one. I don't think I would want it to be any stronger. The throw, I would put it right around a 7 as well. Absolutely fills the immediate area where it's at. It also kind of starts to travel out into the other common areas of the house. So a strength and throw of 7, I think, is a good performance with this one. So I'm very, very pleased with that. In terms of the overall burn quality, so far, so good. Now, this one does have those thick, I call them tree stump wicks. And my problem with these particular wicks, with pretty much all Bath & Body Works candles, is that they really tend to dud out at the halfway point. I don't know what the problem is. There tends to be either an issue of the wicks just kind of starting to disappear. So it turns into the puny wick syndrome, the dreaded puny wick syndrome, or the wicks remain intact and they kind of start to, like that residue from the wicks will drop down into the wax. It'll discolor the wax. And then over time, what will happen is that it starts to affect the actual fragrance. So as of right now, I'm not dealing with either of those issues. I will give you guys an overhead shot. So with regards to the burn, I don't have anything to complain about now. Knock on wood that it kind of stays where it's currently at. I would like to actually finish burning this one. I think that the label on it is cute. I would have probably preferred to have this in maybe a little bit more of a neutral type of packaging. It is a slightly more, I would say, sophisticated or elevated type of fragrance. And the cartoony label, I don't think really goes with this particular scent, but it is festive and fun. I like the color of the wax, but again, for me, I think had it come in the like core jar packaging, I think I would have liked it maybe even a little bit more. All that being said, let's take an overhead look here to see how this one is performing. I did just light this right before starting this video, so you guys can see that the wax is not at all discolored. I'm not dealing with any sooting or anything like that. I don't trim these wicks, but what I do with them is I will take a paper towel and I will lightly run that paper towel along the wicks, being very careful not to snap the wicks at all. And that just kind of takes a little bit of that residue from the previous burn off of the wicks. And I think that that's what's probably been helping in terms of not discoloring the wax and then affecting the fragrance. So if you have those thicker wicks and you are finding that you're starting to see a lot of that residue in your wax, maybe try gently wiping your wicks with a paper towel and maybe you'll get a better experience or a better burn with your candle. So far, it's working for me. Like I said, we'll see if it continues to work. So overall, I'm glad that I took your guys' suggestion and tried this one out. It's not quite what I was wanting, but it is a nice fragrance, and I do like having something in my collection that has kind of that hearth vibe to it. We have gas fireplaces in our house, so I don't ever really have an opportunity to have that real wood burning fire type smell. So it's nice to get it in candle format. And this is a slightly softer, prettier way to get that without it being too terribly aggressive. So definitely I will give this one a thumbs up. I'm not necessarily going to give it 2 thumbs up because I was obviously hoping that it would have a little bit more of that pomander going on post burn, and it just doesn't. But overall, I still liked it. So if you've never tried Winter, I would definitely encourage you to check it out. I think this could also be a fragrance that I would probably be actually interested in burning after the holidays as well. So maybe if SAS rolls around and I decide to hit the sale up, maybe I can pick up another one of these to be able to enjoy in January. But I will definitely be finishing this one up probably this week here. So let me know if you have any questions. Let me know your thoughts on Winter in the comments down below. I'll link it in the description box. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Toodaloo.